Live from New Delhi, you're watching DD India News Hour, India's voice to the world. I'm Tanvi Taneja. Coming up in the next hour. Iran protests subside after deadly crackdown. US President Donald Trump thanks Tehran for calling off mass hangings of protesters. Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky says air defense supplies insufficient. US and Ukraine to hold talks in Miami. US President Donald Trump warns of new tariffs on countries opposing Greenland's takeover, says Arctic island is vital to US national security. U.S. Department of Justice investigates Minnesota Governor Tim Walz and Minneapolis Mayor Jacob Frey over alleged obstruction of law enforcement operations. And in the ICC Under-19 Men's Cricket World Cup, India take on Bangladesh in Zimbabwe's Bulawayo. Finally, some comforting news coming from Iran. Protests have subsided after a deadly crackdown that killed thousands over the past 2 weeks under an internet blackout. Iran witnessed one of its largest demonstrations in years, challenging the country's theocratic system. Further, the danger of new military action by the United States has also appeared to have receded for the time being. US President Donald Trump has said Tehran's leaders had called off over 800 scheduled executions. He had repeatedly warned to take very strong action if Iran executed the protesters. However, Iran has not publicly announced plans for such executions or the cancellations of them. Protests sparked by economic grievances which started with a shutdown in Tehran Bazaar on December 28th, but turned into a mass movement demanding the removal of the clerical system that has ruled Iran since the 1979 revolution. As a precaution, government ensured heavy military and security presence in cities and towns where protests previously took place, as well as in several locations that did not experience major demonstrations. Meanwhile, European Union's aviation regulator on Friday recommended the bloc's airlines stay out of Iran's airspace. The agency said in a bulletin that the presence and possible use of a wide range of weapons and air defense systems, combined with unpredictable state responses, creates a high risk to civil flights operating at all altitudes and flight levels. Meanwhile, several Indian nationals, including students and pilgrims, arrived at the Indira Gandhi International Airport in New Delhi late Friday after returning from Iran. The arrivals come after the Indian government advised its nationals in Iran to consider leaving the country in view of the volatile situation. The Ministry of External Affairs has said it is closely monitoring the developments and remains committed to ensuring the safety and well-being of Indian citizens. Upon arrival, Indian nationals expressed gratitude to Indian authorities for all the assistance.
मोदी जी हैं तो हर चीज़ मुमकिन है। भारतीय गवर्नमेंट है, बहुत सहयोग कर रही है। एम्बेसी वालों ने हमारे को इन्फॉर्मेशन दिया था कि जितना जल्दी हो सकते आप निकलो, तो बहुत ही अच्छा उन्होंने रिस्पांस दिया है।
मेरे फादर और सिस्टर लौट रहे हैं, अभी वापसी कर रहे हैं। अभी उनकी फ्लाइट लैंड कर चुकी है, आने ही वाले होंगे बाहर। बहुत अच्छा काम भारत सरकार ने किया है, इसमें मतलब धन्यवाद देना चाहते हैं भारत सरकार को और अपनी सरकार को, खासकर मोदी जी को, जिस तरह उन्होंने एकदम से इस पर त्वरित कार्रवाई की है और बहुत सेफली यहाँ पर लैंड करा लिया है।
सब खुश हैं, सही सलामत सब अपने यहाँ पर आ रहे हैं और पीछे भी गए हैं। भारत सरकार उन्हें लाने का काम किया है। हम भारत सरकार का शुक्रिया अदा करते हैं, मोदी जी का शुक्रिया अदा करते हैं।
तेहरान का सिनेरियो बिल्कुल अलग था, वो ठीक हो चुका है। अब भारत सरकार ने बड़ी अच्छी कोशिश की है, स्टूडेंट्स को वापस बुलाया।
More from West Asia. On the Gaza peace plan, where US President tapped Secretary of State Marco Rubio and former British Prime Minister Tony Blair as founding members of the Gaza Board of Peace. Trump also named his special envoy Steve Witkoff, son-in-law Jared Kushner and World Bank President Ajay Banga among those on the 7-member founding executive board. Trump himself will chair the board, while further members would be announced in the coming weeks. So Washington has launched a 20-point strategy plan for the second phase of the Gaza peace plan. A 15-member Palestinian technocratic committee will be deployed to manage the day-to-day governance. The plan also calls for the deployment of an international stabilization force to help secure Gaza and train vetted Palestinian police units.
The White House is upping the ante in Gaza. Washington has unveiled a high-stakes 20-point strategy for Phase 2, moving beyond a simple ceasefire to focus on a total overhaul of Gaza's governance and a massive reconstruction effort. Phase 2 aims for the full demilitarization and reconstruction of Gaza, including the disarmament of all unauthorized armed factions. Gaza will be administered by a 15-member Palestinian technocratic committee charged with managing the day-to-day governance. US President Donald Trump announced the formation of a Gaza Board of Peace, which will be headed by Trump himself. The plan also calls for the deployment of an international stabilization force to help secure Gaza and train vetted Palestinian police units. Announcing Phase 2 of the deal, US Special Envoys to West Asia Steve Witkoff said that failure to do so would bring serious consequences. But Hamas has so far adamantly refused to give up its weapons, which it sees as tools of resistance to Israel's decades-long military occupation. The first phase began on October 10 and aimed primarily to stop the fighting in the Gaza Strip, allow in aid, and also secure the return of all remaining living and deceased hostages held by Hamas and other groups. The plan's second phase is now underway, though clouded by ongoing allegations of aid shortages and violence. With agency inputs, Tripti Tripathi's report for DD India.
US President further has told Egypt that he was ready to reopen diplomacy to press Ethiopia into sharing water from a mega dam that has angered Cairo. Trump offered his services as he hailed Egyptian President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi, an ally who helped broker a ceasefire in Gaza. He promised that the Grand Ethiopian Renaissance Dam would be at the very top of his agenda. Trump hoped for a formula to provide a predictable water supply for Egypt and Sudan and let Ethiopia either sell or give electricity to the two downstream countries. Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed in September inaugurated the GERD, Africa's largest hydropower project, built at a cost of $4 billion. Which will more than double Ethiopia's current electricity supply. Sisi has called the dam an existential threat, with parched Egypt counting on the Nile River for 97% of its water needs. Mediation efforts by the United States, World Bank, Russia, United Arab Emirates and the African Union have all faltered over the past decade in resolving the disputes over the dam. That is a unifying symbol of pride in Ethiopia. On to the Russia-Ukraine conflict now. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky said on Friday that he hopes Ukraine will sign agreements with the United States next week on a plan to end Russia's conflict. Zelensky said that Ukraine had completed its part of the work on the documents outlining a prosperity package to unlock money for Ukraine's costly post-conflict recovery, as well as on US security guarantees designed to stop a future Russian attack.
In the coming days, meeting between the Ukrainian representative in the United States will be scheduled. The Ukrainian delegation is currently on its way to the United States. We hope that there will be more clarity regarding the document that we have already prepared with the American side, as well as Russia's response to all the diplomatic work that has taken place and is still ongoing.
While Ukraine's ambassador to the US, Olha Stefanishina, said Senior Ukrainian officials would take part in bilateral talks on the two key agreements on Friday in Miami. She said that the purpose of the visit is to refine these agreements with American partners. Ukraine's delegation will include the head of Zelensky's office, Krylo Budanov, Secretary of Ukraine's National Security and Defense Council, Rustem Umerov. Meanwhile, President Zelensky in his evening address said that Allied supplies of air defense systems and missiles were insufficient, and it was crucial that partners heard Ukraine's requests for additional supplies.
Окремі завдання сьогодні для ППО, для військових. Зараз
We are preparing for next. The meeting in Davos are productive and right ones. Clear substance is needed. The substance of the meeting and the substance of the documents. This is definitely not the time for loud and empty statement or for formal meetings. There must be a result for real people, for Ukrainians, for all Europeans, and for Americans. Peace is equally needed by everyone. Real security is needed by everyone. Normal economic development is also needed by everyone. And all of this must be reflected in relevant documents we are preparing, including together with the American side.
зміст зустрічі.
The International Atomic Energy Agency, IAEA, said on Friday that Russia and Ukraine agreed to a localized ceasefire to allow repairs on the last remaining backup power line at the Zaporizhzhia nuclear power plant. Director General Rafael Grossi, in a statement, said work on the line, which was damaged and disconnected as a result of military activity on January 2nd, should start in the coming days. Moscow and Kiev have repeatedly accused each other of risking a nuclear catastrophe by attacking the site. Situated on the Dnieper River, Zaporizhzhia is the biggest nuclear power plant in Europe and has been occupied by Russian forces since March 2022. But the site still needs electricity to maintain its cooling and security systems. Canada's Prime Minister Mark Carney hailed a landmark deal with China, turning the page on years of diplomatic spats, tit-for-tat arrests and tariff disputes. Carney and Chinese President Xi Jinping agreed on a raft of measures from trade to tourism at the first meeting between the country's leaders in Beijing in 8 years. Carney has sought to reduce his country's reliance on the United States, its key economic partner and traditional ally, as President Donald Trump has aggressively raised tariffs on Canadian products. Under the deal, China is expected to reduce tariffs on canola products by March 1st to around 15%, down from the current 84%. China will allow Canadian visitors to enter the country visa-free. In turn, Canada will import 49,000 Chinese EVs, electric vehicles, under the new preferential tariffs of 6.1%. Brazil's President Luiz Inácio Lula da Silva and EU chief Ursula von der Leyen hailed a trade deal between the EU and South America's Mercosur bloc as a victory for multilateralism at a time of global volatility. The pair met in Rio de Janeiro on the eve of the signing of the deal, which has been 25 years in the making and will create one of the world's largest free trade areas. Von der Leyen praised Lula's role in pushing forward the negotiations and said that the deal sends a powerful message and shows the power of partnership and openness. Lula added that the partnership with the EU went beyond the economic dimension. Together, the EU and Mercosur account for 30% of global GDP and more than 700 million consumers. The treaty eliminates tariffs on more than 90% of bilateral trade. Moving Moving on to updates from Venezuela. The country will begin routing revenues from oil sales through the country's central bank as part of its foreign exchange system. Speaking during a meeting with the National Economy Council broadcast, interim president Delcy Rodriguez said that oil sale proceeds will arrive through the Central Bank of Venezuela and then reach private banks for the foreign exchange market mechanism. Rodriguez also said a contract had been signed to commercialize liquefied petroleum gas and that Venezuela would export its first molecule of gas. Her remarks came as 4 Venezuelan banks were notified this week that they will split $300 million in oil revenues deposited in an account in Qatar, enabling the banks to sell dollars to Venezuelan companies that need foreign currency to pay for imported materials, according to financial sources. Further, 4 high-ranking Cuban military officers were laid to rest in Havana in a military ceremony overseen by President Miguel Diaz-Canel that capped a 2-day national tribute to the combatants killed in Venezuela. The 32 Cuban military and intelligence officers who were defending former Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro were killed during the U.S. military intervention on January 3rd. The second day of honors started with a rally outside the U.S. Embassy in Havana to protest what they denounced as U.S. aggression in the region. The remains of the soldiers were buried in Havana, their home city. You're watching DD India News Hour, still to come on the show. India's Minister Jitin Prasad visits Paris to advance India-France AI priorities. The UN High Seas Treaty officially enters into force today. And NASA details Artemis II mission, the first crewed lunar flight in over 50 years.
Geopolitics and trade deals. Economic challenges amid development. Hard work and the path to prosperity. It's the economy always. Between walkers, money is what money does and says. Supply creates its own demand. Between the bulls pulls and bears tears. When supply chains globalization and India rises to the podium. We'll get you centered with the Economic Brief at 8 p.m. every Thursday on DD India.
Welcome back. You're watching DD India News Hour. I am Tanvi Taneja. More news from the United States. Well, the Justice Department of the country is investigating Minnesota officials, including Governor Tim Walz and Minneapolis Mayor Jacob Frey, over an alleged conspiracy to impede immigration agents. The investigation stems from previous statements made by Walz and Frey about the thousands of immigration and customs enforcement officers and Border Patrol agents deployed to the Minneapolis region in recent weeks. Reacting on the news of investigation, Walz said the justice system was being weaponized. Both officials, along with other Minnesota Democrats, have denounced the ICE operation and Good's death and accused Trump of intentionally fomenting chaos. While U.S. President Donald Trump said that there was no immediate need to invoke the Insurrection Act over protests against immigration raids in Minnesota, a day after threatening to use the law. Amid the escalating row between Trump and Minnesota leaders this week, the president threatened the drastic measure that would have allowed him to deploy the military to police the protests. Minnesota's most populous city has seen increasingly tense confrontations between residents and federal officers since Good was shot on January 7th by an ICE officer. The shooting came a day after Trump administration announced the deployment of 2,000 immigration agents to Minneapolis. In the latest, U.S. President Donald Trump has warned that he could slap tariffs on countries that do not support his Greenland takeover plans, as U.S. Congress members visited Copenhagen to give their backing for Denmark. Europeans too have also been showing their support for Denmark's autonomous Arctic island. Meanwhile, large demonstrations are planned across Denmark and Greenland on Saturday to protest against Trump's territorial ambitions. We have a report. U.S. President Donald Trump again insisted the United States needed mineral-rich Greenland for its national security, warning that he may put a tariff on countries that oppose his stance. Further, Trump told reporters before departing for Florida on Friday that the U.S. was engaged in discussions with NATO over Greenland.
Well, we're going to see NATO has been dealing with us on Greenland. We need Greenland for national security very badly. If we don't have it, we have a big hole in national security, especially when it comes to what we're doing in terms of the Golden Dome and all of the other things. We have a lot of investments in military. We have got the strongest military in the world, and it's only getting stronger. And you saw that with Venezuela. You saw that with the attack on Iran, with the knocking out their nuclear capability potentially. So, yeah, we're talking to NATO.
Meanwhile, a bipartisan delegation on a two-day trip to the Danish capital said the U.S. president's long-held territorial ambitions were not shared by the American people.
It is important to underscore that when you ask the American people whether or not they think it is a good idea for the United States to acquire Greenland, the vast majority, some 75%, will say, we do not think that that is a good idea. This senator from Alaska does not think it is a good idea.
Are there real pressing threats to the security of Greenland from China and Russia? No, not today. Are there real opportunities for us to partner through NATO to contribute to Arctic security? Yes, and if we ask respectfully and plan together, we can achieve that goal. Are there opportunities to develop sustainably the resources of Greenland if that's of interest to American companies? Yes, and so there's a lot of rhetoric, but there's not a lot of reality in the current discussion in Washington.
Earlier, Trump did not rule out the use of force to take control of the vast autonomous Arctic island, which is a part of the Kingdom of Denmark. For now, Denmark's Joint Arctic Command in Greenland is focused on countering potential Russian activity, not defending against U.S. military threats.
I don't see a NATO allied attacking another NATO allied. But of course, if we have Russia attacking Greenland, it is my task to defend it, and I will do that both with Danish troops, but of course within the alliance as well.
Danish defence forces have intensified Arctic operations with European allies, though focused on long-distance flying and operating safely in harsh polar conditions.
Today we are patrolling on Greenland's east coast with F-35s supported with French air-to-air refueling aircrafts. We are investing in new Arctic frigates protected as ice class that can break ice as well. We are investing in additional F-35s, in long-range munition, in maritime patrol aircraft, in drones, in radar systems, and so on and so forth.
Anderson also stressed that the U.S. has been invited to take part in these military exercises in Greenland alongside NATO allies, noting that he had never seen any Russian or Chinese ships near the Arctic island. Amid all this, Greenlanders are putting cautious hope in all-out efforts to contain Trump's designs for their island, as European soldiers arrived in their streets in dozens and US lawmakers visited Denmark on Friday. But experts say Washington is unfazed by Europe's strategic signaling. Large demonstrations are planned across Denmark and Greenland on Saturday to protest against Trump's territorial ambitions. Thousands of people have indicated on social media that they intend to take part in marches and rallies in Copenhagen, Aarhus, Aalborg, Odense and the Greenlandic capital of Nuuk. Tanvi Taneja, for DD India. India's global engagement on artificial intelligence and cybersecurity gained momentum as Minister of State Jitin Prasad visited Paris, underlining India's growing leadership in emerging technologies. Our correspondent Rohini Gosavi reports.
Minister of State Jitin Prasad is on official visit to Paris, where he participated in high-level meetings focused on cybersecurity, responsible AI and digital cooperation. After the visit of External Affairs Minister last week, this visit marks the beginning of the Year of Innovation, highlighting India's intent to deepen technology partnerships, encourage innovation-driven collaboration and strengthen its global engagement in emerging digital sectors.
So I see a lot of collaboration. India has the scale, the size, and the use cases which, and France can use its precision, its innovation, and both countries can take the way forward as far as the AI discourse is concerned. And the people of India we will gain by this relationship.
He attended the AI for People event, organized with participation of ORF and the Indian Embassy. The discussions saw strong alignment between India and France on the use of artificial intelligence. French Minister for AI Anne Lenoff underlined that AI is not just about algorithms or data, but about people, a view that closely matches India's human-centric approach to artificial intelligence, focusing on inclusion, ethics and innovation for public good.
We must work together to ensure that AI services as a force for good, sustainable, inclusive, ethical and aligned with our shared values of democracy.
Cybersecurity collaboration remained a key focus, with discussions on strengthening resilience against emerging digital threats and enhancing international cooperation in the cyber domain. This visit is important as India is hosting Global AI Summit in few days. The meetings in Paris highlight India's focus on safe, inclusive and people-centric use of artificial intelligence. And this is along with stronger global cooperation on cybersecurity. It also reflects India's growing role as a global voice in shaping digital policies. India's engagement in Paris reflects its commitment to global partnerships, technological leadership, and ensuring that AI remains a tool for empowerment, not exclusion. With global attention on responsible technology, India's outreach in Paris reinforces its vision of AI for people and progress. Rohini Gosavi in Paris for DD India.
So the 6th ASEAN-India Digital Ministers meeting was held virtually on Friday, reaffirming the shared commitment of ASEAN member states and India to deepen cooperation in the digital domain. The meeting deliberated on key issues aimed at strengthening regional digital cooperation with a focus on digital inclusion and integration. At the meeting, India reaffirmed its strong commitment to ASEAN-India digital cooperation, saying, working collectively to narrow digital divides, strengthening infrastructure and ensuring that digital transformation serves as a force for inclusion, resilience and economic growth. Emphasizing the transformative role of AI, India outlined its India AI mission with a strong focus on safe and trusted AI and expressed readiness to collaborate with ASEAN on AI capacity building, standards development and practical use cases. In Nepal, the Election Commission has outlined 3 main grounds for providing legal legitimacy to Gagan Thapa faction. The Commission awarded party symbol and name of Nepali Congress to Gagan Thapa on the grounds that there is a mandatory provision that allows 40% of members to demand a general convention and requires that a convention be held accordingly. According to the party statute, general convention representatives are the highest representatives. Moreover, no one expressed dissent regarding the demand for a special general convention. Meanwhile, Sher Bahadur Deuba faction opposed the Election Commission's decision, saying that they would protest against it and move to the court. The UN High Seas Treaty enters force this month after 60 nations ratifying the pact. It protects marine biodiversity beyond national waters. For the first time, nations will work under a common legal framework to protect fragile ecosystems, safeguard endangered species and ensure ocean health for future generations. DD India's Tapas Bhattacharya has filed this report.
The world is set to take a historic step towards protecting life beyond national borders. The High Seas Treaty, formerly known as the Agreement on Biodiversity Beyond National Jurisdiction, PBNJ Agreement, will enter into force on January 17, 2026 after receiving 60 ratifications. Covering nearly two-thirds of the world's oceans, the high seas have long remained beyond effective regulation. The landmark treaty aims to change that. The agreement focuses on conserving marine biodiversity in international waters by enabling the creation of marine protected areas, regulating activities like deep-sea mining and ensuring sustainable use of marine resources. It also promotes fair sharing of benefits from marine genetic resources and strengthens environmental impact assessments for activities in the high seas. For the first time, nations will work under a common legal framework to protect fragile ecosystems, safeguard endangered species, and ensure ocean health for future generations. As climate change, pollution, and overexploitation threaten marine life, the High Seas Treaty marks a turning point in global ocean governance. January 17, 2026 could well be remembered as the day the world united to give the high seas a fighting chance.
With High Seas Treaty coming into force, nations take decisive steps to protect the marine life beyond borders. The agreement promises stronger conservation, shared responsibilities and sustainable use of ocean resources. With cameraperson Vishwabandhu, this is Tapas Bhattacharya for DD India from Delhi.
NASA officials have said that Artemis II, the first crewed mission to moon since the Apollo era more than 5 decades ago, is moving closer to flight as the agency prepares to roll out its rocket and spacecraft. At a press conference in Cape Canaveral, Chief Exploration Scientist Jacob Bleacher said Artemis II is a test flight that will include a wide-ranging research campaign to study how both spacecraft systems and humans perform in deep space.
Our integrated research campaign for Artemis II builds upon what we learned in Artemis I, and it sets the stage for successful exploration of the moon and ultimately onto Mars. Our campaign will help us understand the space weather that we'll face during future lunar missions, how to observe the moon and communicate with the support teams here on Earth, and in general, how we will react to, survive, and thrive in that deep space environment. Therefore, I like to say that Artemis II science is the science of us. Artemis II science is the science of humankind.
So the Artemis II mission unfolds as President Donald Trump has reaffirmed the U.S. goal of returning humans to the moon by 2028, outlining broader plans to strengthen U.S. space security, keeping the moon at the center of American space policy despite years of development delays. You're watching DD India News Hour, still to come on the show. The ceremonial at-home invitation for Republic Day 2026 is more than just an invite. We'll tell you why. Also, we'll get you glimpses of Bharat on the Move, a digital exhibition concluded recently at the Parliament House complex. And Indian Embassy hosts tourism promotion event in Riyadh. All that and more on the other side.
Jharkhand will mesmerize you with majestic nature, rich heritage and colorful culture.
Hello. Johar. Johar. It fits perfectly.
Thank you.
Full workout ho gaya.
Ready?
Postcards from Jharkhand on National Geographic.
Welcome back to DD India News Hour. I am Tanvi Taneja. Prime Minister Narendra Modi will begin his two-day visit to Assam and West Bengal today. In West Bengal's Malda, the Prime Minister will dedicate and lay foundation stone for various rail and road projects on Saturday. Prime Minister Modi will flag off India's first Vande Bharat sleeper train between Howrah and Guwahati. Prime Minister will inaugurate and lay the foundation stone of various development projects in Hooghly. He will also flag off 7 Amrit Bharat trains, boosting rail connectivity of West Bengal with other states. Later on Saturday, Prime Minister Modi will be in Assam, where he will participate in a cultural event celebrating the rich heritage of the Bodo community in Guwahati. On Sunday, Prime Minister Modi will perform the Bhumi Pujan for the Kaziranga Elevated Corridor project. The 86-kilometre elevated corridor project is an environmentally conscious national highway project. The project aims to improve regional connectivity while ensuring protection of the park's rich biodiversity. Prime Minister Modi will also flag off 2 new Amrit Bharat Express trains to strengthen rail connectivity between the northeast and northern India. The National Institute of Design, Ahmedabad, has designed the prestigious at-home invitation for the Republic Day reception at Rashtrapati Bhavan, showcasing the rich craft heritage of the northeastern states. Why is this invitation garnering eyes? Take a look.
The ceremonial at-home invitation for Republic Day 2026 is more than just an invite. It is a tribute to India's living craft traditions. Designed by the National Institute of Design, Ahmedabad, the invitation kit highlights the artistry of over 350 artisans from 8 northeastern states of India. Commissioned by Rashtrapati Bhavan, the project brings together traditional crafts from Arunachal Pradesh, Assam, Manipur, Meghalaya, Mizoram, Nagaland, Sikkim and Tripura.
Some of them, like this Monpa, Honorable Prime Minister mentioned in his Mann Ki Baat. So, and understanding their process, we developed some small pieces which can go along with the theme, overall theme. And this has been presented. Once we got the go-ahead, then the mammoth activity started. So in this case, since it is an artist, all the product been done in their respective cluster. Almost more than 350 artisans have been worked in this for 45 days.
Bamboo, a material deeply rooted in the region's ecology and culture, forms the core of the invitation design. From woven bamboo covers and scrolls to handcrafted ornaments and textiles, each element reflects sustainable practices and indigenous knowledge systems. The invitation kit has a unique bamboo wall hanging scroll that unfolds to reveal handcrafted artifacts representing each state.
We are making invitation kit which represent India's craft and culture, which are more than 5,000 years old. And through this one initiative where the invitation kit, the Honorable President of Office showed that how government can visualize the invitation kit which represent Bharat thought process in Bharat, the history of Bharat.
The invitation kit features iconic crafts such as Lepcha nettle weaving from Sikkim, green bamboo weaves from Meghalaya, the Gogona bamboo joha from Assam, cane and bamboo jewelry from Tripura, rare wild fiber textiles from Nagaland, Ponchai hand-woven textiles from Mizoram, and long pea black pottery from Manipur. The project was developed through extensive fieldwork and coordination with remote villages in the northeast.
ये कंचनजंगा माउंटेन का एक रूप है, तो ये लेप्चा कम्युनिटी का एक थॉट प्रोसेस है कि वहाँ पे उनके कंचनजंगा की स्नो से आया हुआ पानी से वो कम्युनिटी बनी हुई है, तो उसका ये एक सिग्निफिकेंस है.
Handloom weaving, central to everyday life in the region and a major source of livelihood for women artisans, is highlighted through a hand-woven textile belt attached to the invitation cover. As India prepares to celebrate its 77th Republic Day, the at-home invitation stands as a tribute to the Ashtalakshmi state.
A showcase of India's northeast, its indigenous craft, tradition, and also a legacy which is completely displayed in this invitation kit, and something also that people who receive this will be cherishing, or probably will be seeing it on their walls once they receive these invitation kits. With camera person Lakshman Rajput, this is Meghna Dey for DD India from Ahmedabad, Gujarat.
So let's tell you a little bit more about the Republic Day celebrations this year. They will happen at Kartavya Path on 26 January. It will be a unique blend of 150 years of the national song Vande Mataram, India's military might and cultural diversity. A series of paintings created by Tejendra Kumar Mitra in 1923 illustrating the verses of Vande Mataram will be displayed as view cutters along Kartavya Path during the parade. Pan-India band performances on the theme Vande Mataram will also be organized from Monday till 26th of January by the Indian Army, Indian Navy, Air Force, Coast Guard and other central armed police forces. While the parade will feature cutting-edge defense platforms, 30 vibrant tableaux, a grand flypast by 29 aircraft and a spectacular cultural performance by 2,500 artists is planned. Significantly, a battle array format will be displayed in a sequence that shows how they are used in a combat scenario by the Indian Army for the first time. A digital exhibition titled Bharat on the Move concluded at the Parliament House complex on Friday. It offered a comprehensive and immersive portrayal of India's remarkable journey of democracy and development. Through advanced digital installations and audiovisual narratives, the exhibition highlighted how India has progressed from ancient times to a modern global power. A major highlight of the exhibition is the detailed presentation on the construction of the new Parliament building. The two-day exhibition was held during the 28th Conference of Speakers and Presiding Officers of the Commonwealth. Minister of State for External Affairs Kirtivardhan Singh attended Bharat Milan, a community cultural festival held in Obor city of Egypt. He interacted with members of the Indian diaspora there from across Egypt and highlighted India's strong people-to-people ties with the West Asian nation. The minister underscored the significance of the Indian diaspora, commending their contributions in aligning with the goal of Viksit Bharat and their efforts in enhancing India-Egypt bilateral relations and deepening cultural and people-to-people ties. The Embassy of India in Riyadh, in partnership with the Ministry of Tourism, Government of India, hosted a major tourism promotion event on Thursday to connect global partners with India's diverse travel experiences. Ambassador of India, Suhail Ajaz Khan, delivered the keynote address, highlighting the historical bond between India and Saudi Arabia and the significant role played by cross-cultural interactions and close people-to-people ties in nurturing this partnership. He invited the people of Saudi Arabia to choose India as their preferred destination for both leisure and cultural travel to enjoy its fascinating range of tourism destinations and travel experiences. Reaffirming India's commitment to regional solidarity and humanitarian assistance, the Indian Army engineers have successfully constructed the third Bailey Bridge, measuring 120 feet at KM 15 on B492 highway in Sri Lanka. The construction was carried out as part of Operation Sagar Bandhu, reflecting India's prompt and reliable humanitarian assistance and disaster relief response in the island nation. This achievement follows the earlier successful launch of 2 Bailey bridges in Jaffna and Kandy regions. The initiative underscores India's neighborhood first policy and the enduring philosophy of Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, meaning the world is one family, strengthening the long-standing friendship and cooperation between India and Sri Lanka.
The Government of India launched Operation Sagar Bandhu to support the people of Sri Lanka. Since then, the Engineer Task Force is deployed here in Sri Lanka and has been working in close coordination with Sri Lankan Army and Sri Lankan Road Development Authority to restore connectivity along critical lines of communication. The task force has already constructed 2 Bailey bridges. This bridge is the third bridge constructed by the ETF as part of assistance to local communities. Therefore, once the bridge is fully operational, it will reduce the travel time from the existing 3 to 4 hours to approximately 2 hours.
And let's give you some weather updates now. India's weather department issued fresh warnings for dense fog, cold day and cold wave conditions across several parts of North and East India. Dense to very dense fog prevailed in parts of Uttarakhand, Punjab, Haryana, Chandigarh and Uttar Pradesh during morning and night hours. Similar fog conditions were also reported in isolated pockets of Bihar, Assam, Meghalaya, West Bengal and Sikkim. Cold wave and dense fog blanketed parts of Delhi as well as temperatures dipped to 4.3 degrees Celsius in the morning. Low visibility due to dense fog impacted flight operations, causing delays at the New Delhi airport. The Airports Authority of India cautioned that weather-related visibility limitations across northern India may lead to further flight delays, extended holding or last-minute schedule changes, advising passengers to check flight status with their airlines. Meanwhile, the government has reimposed the Graded Response Action Plan, GRAP 3, in Delhi NCR region, banning non-essential construction and demolition activities. Vehicular restrictions include a ban on BS3 and BS4 diesel four-wheelers, non-essential diesel-powered medium goods vehicles and interstate diesel buses not compliant with the CNG, electric or BS6 norms. With the aim of rekindling devotional consciousness among people, the Gaura Nitai temple has been established near the sacred birthplace of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in West Bengal's Mayapur, adding a new spiritual landmark to this holy region. A 4-day-long series of religious and cultural programs were organized to mark the occasion, with devotees immersed in devotion and festivity. The inauguration ceremony witnessed the presence of numerous saints and devotees from different parts of the state and beyond. The temple servitors said that the founding Acharya of Gauri Nitai Temple, Srila Bhakti Swarup Tirtha Maharaj, has been spreading the message of Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu across the world for more than 3 decades.
It has been Srila Gurudeva's long time dream to build a beautiful temple like this. So in this auspicious place of Sridham Mayapur, the birthplace of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Srila Gurudev has constructed this beautiful temple.
And time now for some sporting action. In the Under-19 Men's Cricket World Cup, India will take on Bangladesh in their second game in Zimbabwe's Bulawayo. Earlier, India got its campaign underway with a 6-wicket victory via Duckworth-Lewis method against the USA after bundling the opponent out for a paltry 107 in a rain-hit match on Thursday. The star-studded Indian batting lineup will hope to get an extended run at the crease against Bangladesh, which is likely to pose a greater challenge to the Ayush Mahatre-led side. Champions in 5 of the 16 editions, India is by far the most dominant team in the history of the competition, which started back in 1988. External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar on Friday held strategic talks with Japan's Foreign Minister Toshimitsu Motegi. In a light-hearted moment, Jaishankar acknowledged a shared passion for the game of cricket between both of them. In a social media post, he said, as the two sides held India-Japan strategic talks, he was even more pleased to find a fellow cricket enthusiast in Foreign Minister Motegi. In the spirit of their shared passion for the sport, Jaishankar expressed honor to have received a Japanese national cricket team jersey, while also gifting the visiting dignitary a bat signed by the Indian cricket team. Jaishankar then said that he hoped to enjoy a cricket match with him in Japan someday. More from cricket. The Indian Cricket Selection Committee added Shreyas Iyer and Ravi Bishnoi to India's squad for the upcoming 5-match T20 series against New Zealand on Friday. While Shreyas was named as Tilak Verma's replacement for the first 3 matches of the series, Tilak underwent surgery for an abdominal issue earlier this month and will miss the first 3 games of the T20 series against the Kiwis. Leg spinner Bishnoi replaced all-rounder Washington Sundar in the squad. Washington was ruled out of the T20s against the Kiwis after suffering a side strain during the first ODI against the same opposition. The injury forced the spin bowling all-rounder to miss the second ODI and was replaced in the squad by Ayush Badone. In soccer, Manchester United will take on Manchester City in the iconic Manchester Derby at Old Trafford in the Premier League on Saturday. The Premier League game will be a litmus test for United's interim manager Michael Carrick and City's manager Pep Guardiola. Carrick's first Manchester Derby will be Guardiola's 27th, more than any other City manager, which he has won 14 times. The teams met in back-to-back FA Cup finals in 2023 and 24, winning one each. City has enjoyed more dominant wins, scoring 3 or more goals on 7 occasions. Ruben Amorim last week became the 6th permanent United manager to be dismissed since Alex Ferguson retired in 2013. Former player Carrick was hired this week until the end of the season. India Open badminton tournament is currently underway in New Delhi. On the sidelines of the event, former India badminton coach Vimal Kumar interacted with DD India's Narayan Singh and shared his views on the tournament, the performance of Lakshya Sen and other young Indian shuttlers.
The India Open badminton tournament is currently underway in New Delhi, and right now I'm joined by the former coach of the Indian badminton team, Vimal Kumarji. Sir, a very warm welcome. Exciting tournament is underway here. So overall, how you look the level of competition here at the India Open?
No, it is always because this is a 750 event. So it's a very strong tournament. The world number one pulled out because he got injured while playing the Malaysian Open. So other than that, Kunlavat is here who won the tournament, and then all the others are there. So it's a very, men's singles field is very strong. Then women's singles, we have Ansai Young, she's the world's best player.
So definitely a strong tournament, but talking about the Indian badminton right now, if you take a look, Lakshya Sen is the leading singles player who is just, we can say that, leading the India's campaign in the world of badminton. But we have seen a fantastic comeback by the Lakshya in the recent time. But we have seen that at the crucial juncture, sometime he faltered. So what advice as a mentor you are giving him?
Lakshya faltered quite a bit last year from these sort of situations. I think he's slightly better now, but again, he needs to be a little more consistent. And my advice has always been to him is now to remain in the present and look this year at winning a 1,000 event or a 750 event, because he has not won a 1,000 or a 750 event in the tour. He has won 500 events, 300 events he has won, but 750 or 500, 1,000 is important. So he should just focus on that and do that.
Talking about our Indian badminton, if you talk about PV Sindhu, HS Pranoy, Kidambi Shrikant, all are in the final leg of their career. So currently, what are the key names do you think that who will take the Indian badminton forward?
I think in men's singles we have a good depth. The next after Lakshya is Ayush Shetty. He has already beaten some of the best top 10 players in the world. So he's right up there. By the end of the year, he should be in the top 15 or top 10. And even in women's singles, if you look at it, we have Tanvi Sharma. She really showed. She got to the finals of the Junior World Championships. She's also right up there. She nearly beat the world number 2 here. So that's a good sign.
As the Vimal Kumarji said that our young talent, especially Ayush and Tanvi, has the potential to be the best in the business, and they have showed their potential in the past few months. Hopefully, this Indian badminton player will do well in the coming times, and India will shine at the world map. With camera person Rahul Chopra, Narayan Singh, DD India, Delhi.
And the Australian Open is set to open the Grand Slam season this year, with the main draw now revealed and the world's top tennis players gearing up for action at Melbourne Park. Here's a look at what to expect down under.
The first Grand Slam of 2026 is just round the corner. The Australian Open will run from January 18 to February 1, with the women's final scheduled for January 31 and the men's final on February 1. The hard courts of Melbourne Park once again host the season's opening major, featuring a record prize pool of nearly $75 million. In the men's draw, defending champion Yannick Sinner begins his quest for a rare third straight Australian Open title. The Italian finds himself in the same half as Novak Djokovic, who is a 10-time champion in Melbourne and is chasing a historic 25th Grand Slam title. Meanwhile, the world number one, Carlos Alcaraz, will be attempting to become the youngest man in history to win the career Grand Slam at just 22 years old. The Spaniard will start his campaign against home favourite Adam Walton and could face Alexander Zverev in the semi-finals. Last year's runner-up, Zverev opens his campaign against Canada's Gabriel Diallo. Defending champion Sinner will face Hugo Castro, while Djokovic will clash with Pedro Martinez.
I'm just angry for the title, angry to do a really good result here. So I'm just getting ready as much as I can, and I'm really excited about the tournament begun.
It's great to be back here. It's such a special place for me, and starting the season here is always very, very nice, very beautiful, and obviously you never know what's happening. So let's see what's coming.
The women's draw also promises drama right from the start. Defending champion Madison Keys begins her title defense against Ukraine's Alexandra, while world number one Aryna Sabalenka, a two-time Australian Open champion, arrives in strong form after defending her Brisbane title. One of the most talked about possibilities is a second-round clash between Coco Gauff and Venus Williams. Coco Gauff will open her account against Kamila Rakhimova, while world number one Aryna Sabalenka is pitted against French wildcard Tiansova Rajaona, while fourth seed Amanda Anisimova begins her quest against Simona Waltert.
I'm happy to be back. I have a lot of great memories from this place, and yeah, I can't complain about my start of the season. I think I played some great matches there, showed great tennis, and super excited to start this tournament.
From record chases to fresh rivalries, and from seasoned champions to rising stars, the Australian Open 2026 promises a compelling start to the tennis year. Sports Desk, DD India.
So that's all for this edition of DD India News Hour. Do let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. Connect with us on our different social media handles at DD India Live, and you can also download our DD India mobile app for quick news and updates on the go. We'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I'm Tanvi Taneja from all of us here in New Delhi. Thank you for watching. Namaskar.